Where do I even start? My first convention. People told me about conventions. They're supposed to be fun. People dressing up as their favorite manga or anime characters, cool games you can play, meeting new friends, etc. Maybe it was all just bad luck, or a convention isn't something for me. Either way, let me tell you about my first convention experience. So hello, welcome guys, hope you have an awesome day. I know I didn't start the video in the most positive way, and so I wanted to tell you guys something before we start this video. So I wanted to say that I do believe conventions can be really fun, and I do believe that a lot of people who were at the convention where I was at had fun and they did their thing and they knew what they were doing. But since it was my first experience with conventions and my expectations of it were really high, so I think that I didn't like it because of that. Also, if I would go in blindly, I probably would have enjoyed it more. So yes, that's what I wanted to say before I start this video. Why did I think the convention wasn't as good as I expected? So the main reason why I think the convention wasn't as good as it could be and it wasn't as fun as it could be was because of the organization. They organized a few activities. So they had this singer who did some songs and performed for us, and there was a guy who learned the people Japanese, which was actually pretty cool, but I'll get into that later. And there was also a dating or a dating game, and those were the three main activities where I actually stayed. I was most of the times at the shop, so where I could buy things. I didn't buy anything, and I'll also get to that later. But the singer who performed sang a few songs, and she could sing really good. She was a great singer, by no means. But the songs that she did, they weren't well known by the audience. So she sang the songs that we couldn't relate to. If she would have picked, for example, Unraveled by Tokyo Ghoul, then people will definitely recognize it more and there will be more animo for her, because now she was awkwardly singing, and that was really sad for her actually. I felt some pity for her. She did thank us though, and she did her thing, but that could have been better. As far as the dating goes, the guy who was the center of this dating show wasn't really knowing what he was doing. He thought something up on the go, I think. They had this, I can show it to you guys, wait. There was a person behind the wall, and then there were four other people sitting on chairs, and this person was also sitting on a chair. So what they did was, the person who was on the chair was the person could go for. So for example, you wanted to go out with this girl, or you wanted to date this girl, then you could run towards the other four seats, questions from the girl who was at the other side of the wall, and they told their answers on it. And actually when they were finished and they did three questions, and the person who was at the chair they were battling for, she just had to think up her own questions, also had to pick someone at the end, and when they picked someone, that was it. There was no continuation of the whole situation. There was just it was just like, okay, let's get on to the next one, and there was no climax to it actually, which was a shame. And last thing was the Japanese lesson, which was pretty cool, and they had a Japanese guy, I don't know his name, but this Japanese guy was here, and they gave some people some books, so you could get a book, but there were too many people and they didn't have enough books, so they say they were empty and it was done. So if you didn't have a book, you couldn't actually participate in this, and that was also a shame, but that was to be expected because there were many people, so I don't hold them accountable for that. So the games in the gaming hall, because there was a gaming hall, really outdated. And yes, I thought there would be new games, upcoming games that you could just play, but they were just old games and outdated games, which I personally didn't really like. Also really sucked was that the manga was more expensive than usual. So when I order it online, it is actually cheaper than when I buy it at a convention. To be fair though, there were a lot of things that were good. For example, the food was delicious. I never tried some real Japanese food, so that was really a good experience. It was really nice and I really liked it. It was some ramen beef and it was really delicious. So cosplayers who were at the convention looked amazing. They did a lot of they had a lot of work on their costume. You could see the passion coming from them. You had this Kaneki, for example, who had a real Kagune with lights, and it was really cool. It was also really easily accessible. You could get there by train, car, so there was no problem with that. And overall I just had a fun day, so to be fair though, it was really fun. I went there with a friend, that's probably why it still was a fun day though. So yes, that's the end of this video. I don't want to come over as a negative person. I just think that it could have been better and it wasn't the best experience. So I'm going to another convention in a few months and definitely wait for that video. This was Danny from Dendor and I hope to see you guys.